So I'm not sure if it's good news or bad news. It just depends who's the recipient of what President Trump said last week. President Trump wants to wants to cap credit card limits at 10%, according to your balance, 10% interest rate. So what does that mean to the regular consumer, to the regular credit card consumer? Well, a couple of things. If you use credit cards responsibly, if you don't carry a balance, then this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter to you at all. It really doesn't. 10 or 20%, nothing is still nothing. So you're good. But for those who carry a large credit card balance, this is definitely a good thing for those who have high expenses. It could be running the business. I'm not sure if he had said, okay, I'm going to target consumer credit or a business credit. Either way, capping credit card limits at 10% will affect those who are trying to pay the loan amounts down, and that typically is somebody who has a higher balance than others. But this is what I fear, and this is what I fear in terms of an ethical or even a logos point of view. But when it comes to our wallets, we could benefit it. We could benefit from it because other people have the tendency to buy more just because they are going to be receiving less interests. So because it's a less interest, people tend to buy more, and that's kind of the point of loan. It's kind of synonymous to mortgage rates, right? So mortgage rates, all it is if we have a 5% mortgage rate, let's use that as a basis. If we are able to decrease that to 3 or 2%, then that encourages people to buy. When people buy, that heats up the economy because more money is in circulation. So this is synonymous to what President Trump is saying, and this is my point of view. Where if we are going to decrease the credit card interest rate from paying 30% in that interval range to 10%, that's going to encourage people to buy. And of course, the only people that will benefit are those who are trying to kill the loan that they have. If they're trying to decrease their debt amount from a lot to a little, then this 10% cap limit for a year would definitely benefit them. And it won't benefit those who don't carry a balance every month, because we are responsible users. Of course, I say we because I don't carry balances at the end of my months, out of my statements month. So that's two buckets of people. The third bucket of people, and I think it's going to be the majority of Americans, are the ones who like to spend money, who want to get things, whether it be for their business, whether it be for themselves, whether it be for experiences, what have you. Because it's cheaper to borrow money, people are going to use that advantage and buy things. And that's the one thing that kind of worries me. But it doesn't matter if it doesn't affect you, if it doesn't affect me, because there's one way that we can do indirectly to benefit from this is to buy those stocks that are in sale. When President Trump announced this last week, I saw finance stocks just go down. So the main thing that was affected by, because I own some stocks, Visa stock went from, I have to look at it, but now it went from a good, very good in the green. It went from 350, because right now it's at 226, and that's pretty low. So before the announcement of the tariffs, the interest rate cap, the high was on the 6th of January of this year. The high was at 357, and now it's at 226. So effectively, a difference or a drop. The delta is around $30, and that's quite a bit, especially if you own a lot of shares of it. So $30 times the X amount of shares, it yields a fat chunk of unrealized returns, either going from green to almost neutral, or going from neutral to like very red. Anyways, to my point, this is how people like you and I, who are more financially literate, who don't want to borrow money because that's not what we do. One of the ways that we can indirectly benefit from this announcement is pretty much buying these stocks because they're cheaper now. Visa is a primary example that I'm using. Visa, we know what they are, we know what they do, we know how long they've been around for, and we know that their business is not going to go anywhere. Doesn't matter if we have MasterCard, doesn't matter if we have American Express, Discovered. My point is, Visa's here to stay. So, because their prices have dropped from 350 to let's say 350, just to keep things simple, and now it's at 320 to 35ish. My point is that we can buy right now because it's low, and then whenever things start to get better, whenever the economy starts to heat up, then that's when we are able to buy. So that's my point of view, and that's my suggestion to myself, not to anybody here. But my positive outward looking for the Visa stock is that because right now it went down by a lot because of the announcement, and whenever things start to recuperate, whether it be the credit rates actually dropping and being capped or not, stocks tend to bounce in the long run, which is very important to say. Stocks bounce back in the long run, and if you don't need the extra money that you are going to invest in, then you can buy and then hold until whenever you feel like selling. Of course, we want to sell when it's in the green. Whether or not you sell when it's very in the green or just in the green is of course up to you and your finances. But my point is, Visa dropped by a lot. Of course, MasterCard dropped a lot too. JP Morgan also dropped a lot too. So if you guys want to buy these stocks because it's a discount, go on ahead. You don't have to buy a single share or two. You can even buy fractional shares too. You can drop like $50, $100, and see where it goes. Alright then, fellas, later.
Our recon plane will find them, wherever they hide. Recon plane acquired. Our recon plane will find them, wherever they hide.